is how we brew it.
This is how we brew it.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. I don't know how to rap.
This is how we brew it.
I don't know how to do this. We're making it up as we go, everyone.
Homebrew is where the heart is. It's where dungeon masters, murder hobos, dice goblins, and chaos gremlins come together to turn big ideas into unforgettable adventures. So how do you take that spark, a setting, a villain, a mechanic, and turn it into something that actually works at the table? It's actually pretty simple. We brew it, aka homebrew it. We've got 6 flavorful categories to walk through, designed to help you build campaigns that capture the feel of your favorite worlds and IPs. Today, we're starting with how to train your dragon. So Taylor, let's kick it off with the first category, which is called base build. We have base build, resonance and vibe, extra froth, weird for us, inciting quest, and threat level, aka an acronym, brew it.
You love an acronym.
I love a good acronym. You know I do. So, Taylor, what are essential components and must-haves of a world like How to Train Your Dragon?
I think the fun thing about How to Train Your Dragon is like the process and the scene that's in the movie of them like trying to like tame these dragons.
I think to me, the essential components of a How to Train Your Dragon experience are there are dragons, there are people, and the people and the dragons don't get along, but somebody is able to bond with them, and eventually we need to ride the dragon, right? And be able to fly around with the dragon and have the dragon be basically a hybrid between a cat and a dog and be our pet, right? So I think for sure the most important component would be how would we build some form of mechanic that people could have so that you could have more than just an animal handling check when you bond with the beast. Because we could just say, okay, you roll the animal handling check, you get it, and then cool, you passed, it likes you, and you can start doing stuff with it. Or it could be, a bit more advanced than that. And I wouldn't want anyone to start off automatically with like the ranger subclass, the Drake Warden, which allows you to summon one off like from thin air. Like, I don't think that counts, plus it doesn't fly. So we would need like a hybrid of the two.
I'm thinking something akin to like, this isn't D&D, but like Pokemon. Like, I know that's not related super, but you know what I mean? How like with Pokemon, you have to like, first you have to try and like catch the thing, right? And there's like that technical mechanic of like the Pokeball and the chance, like the percent chance that it actually like catches it or not. But the second he touches Toothless's like forehead, I'm wondering if like that's kind of like the taming, like that's the thing that everyone has to do, right? It's like, okay, you touch his forehead, it's like roll to bond or whatever, right? But like before that, I wonder if there are things you can do, like in Pokemon, you fight the Pokemon, lower its like health, and then it's easier to catch. I wonder if there's a mechanic in which it's like, okay, like, do you have to do some sort of knowledge check about this species of dragon? Do you have to like try and find something you can give it to make it like you, almost like a charm roll, right? So it's like, is there a knowledge roll, a charm roll, and maybe like a third roll? And like, depending on the successes of those things, the bonding check is actually like the DC for that, the difficulty for that goes down, Yeah.
Right. So I think this gets into a good thing that I want to talk about every time we ever do this, which is I have this design philosophy for a mechanic, which is called LITE, L-I-T-E. You need to be able to explain this thing to people, and people should be able to get it really quickly. There are some great examples of game design where this is totally the case. Like when you're playing certain things, like we both play Magic the Gathering, there are certain mechanics that just make a lot of sense, and there are certain mechanics that don't make any sense. Banding, I'm looking at you. And so with light mechanics, I think what I would probably say is, and this can get us into our next category, which is the resonance and vibe, right? It needs to have the right vibe. It needs to feel correct, right? And when it feels correct, it'll be all right. Like in the Pokemon world, the math behind Pokemon, catching a Pokemon is insane. The math problem is nutso. I'll post a picture like right in front of on the YouTube video. You can take a look at the formula and just be like, have your eyes glaze over. It's like, and if you like that sort of stuff, good. I'm so glad you went to MIT. But when you're doing that, right? Like but instead, like when I was trying to do Pokemon, I had everyone play me in blackjack, right? Because there's chance, right? Skill involved and there's chance involved. And then if they use different Pokeballs, right? They had better cards, or they could boost stuff on their blackjack, or like they could count at 20 as a blackjack instead. Like stuff like that allowed them to play the game. And that felt good. It felt right. So for me, like that multi-step process is exactly what we're talking about here. I think that will help get the right vibe as you do it, because you have the different things you know. And I would personally want to take it so that like it's not just one roll, but maybe one or two rolls.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say one or two rolls makes the most sense, because I'm like, it's a dragon. Like, it's not like, thinking about the fact that it's a dragon, not like a regular, it's not a dog, you know, you're not like giving it a biscuit and that's going to lick your face. Like, it's like, historically, I think dragons are one of the hardest species to try and get along with in any fantasy, anything, you know, like RPG story, whatever. Yeah, so I would say like more than one roll makes a lot of sense. You want it to feel like difficult, but then you want it to feel rewarding at the end of the day, you know? That's like you bonded with this dragon, and then like that bond creates some sort of, I don't know, like makes the adventure that you go on with an RPG of How to Train Your Dragon more exciting. And like your dragon can do different things than other dragons, you know what I mean? I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So here's what I would propose as we're talking it through. Let's say that each dragon has 3 traits to it, right? Speaking of Pokemon have traits, and those traits make it easier or harder for it to catch and to also train them, etc.
Yeah.
Right? The system behind it is also insane, but the basic premise is still there, right? So let's just say 3 categories, right? It's temperament, right? It's goals and values, and it's like the way it likes to be approached, or its favorite food. Let's go with like food. Right? Easy. Food, temperament, and goal.
Yeah,
right?
All the 3 things that matter for me to get out of bed.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the 3 things, right? And if you can say, in general, this species of dragon likes these 3 things, and these are the general ones. But of course, there can be exceptions to the rule, because not every dragon is the same. And you could just kind of make a spreadsheet table of all of the dragons and all their possibilities and all the colors, and then just say, hey, here's the generic list of what people will need to do. If you approach it in the right way, you understand how to interact with the right temperament, and you have aligned goals, right? I think you could roll easy. You could just reduce the DC for this check and say, all right, I'm open to a bond, right? And then I would say, when you do the touch, right, I think you need to RP it out. You need to talk it out.
Yeah.
And try to convince them. But if you can't get those, if you can't pass the DC, I think you just can't even talk. This dragon's like, no, and like bites your hand, or it like attacks you, or it flies away, you know? And which could also mean like you talk to the dragon, and the dragon will be like, not today, son. I'm not interested right now, but if you can do this for me, come back. Right? Which is a dungeon master is great, because that means you just give them quests because they want to have this particular dragon, they go for it.
I love that. So are we saying dragons and How to Train Your Dragon RPG can talk now?
I think I would kind of do a little bit of Aragon, where they can talk psychically to you.
Oh, wait, that's crazy. Yeah. No, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
But I mean, I think it would be useful in this context, because it allows for more story elements, and it allows for there to be a contest that's not just a roll, and it'll feel rewarding, and it'll feel like you're bonding with an actual being as opposed to something else. And a GM could rule also that it's just vibes and emotions. Like, it's like angry at you, right? It's up to you, right? But I think that sort of interaction must be like its ability to understand human speech and give you a vibe, or straight up talk to you, I think will create more of an RP feel, which will kind of do that over time.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the next section, which is the extra froth, which is the thing that's going to take us over the top. This takes the idea to like the apex. I think if people ran with this basic system, I actually would like, I kind of want to try this system now. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like, let's run with that. But the thing that would be amazing is if you could get bigger and stronger, and your bond matters with your dragon. That would be one thing. The other would be, I would want, if you're really trying to make it How to Train Your Dragon, you also need the Vikings versus the dragons element of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to have a big old fight, baby. Okay, but then I'm wondering, okay, this is also extra froth. This also goes into, what's it called? Steampunk era. I think ships should fly. I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, these are Vikings with ships that float, and then they have dragons, and then they have Hiccup, who can invent things. The ship's gotta fly. Like, I think that's just, are you telling me you don't want to have a battle in the sky on a Viking ship against a giant dragon flying in the sky as well? That's crazy.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that works for me. That works for me. And there's obviously a plot line there that this can be maybe the W, the weird for us, the just for us thing. I would love if we were to plan it out where you have an one of the player party is an artificer, right? And they suck at like regular combat. But their story is, oh, I find an injured dragon on the battlefield in the middle of battle, and we bond. And that dragon has like a bad wing, and he fixes the wing as an artificer, and they bond together, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So the only other thing I would say is, I think to have the growth level here, we have the airships and the flying ships for the Vikings. You know, pull out your best like Norse Viking accent, which I cannot do.
Me either.
Yeah, but I think if I tried, it ends up getting like Scottish or Irish.
Oh,
Offensively so.
yeah.
So, not gonna do it. But I think what I would probably have to try and do is, as you grow your dragon, there are multiple enemy classes of dragons that are abound. And then they go all the way from baby to like young adult to adult, etc. I think you just age up the dragons, and you don't have to do the whole wait for it for 500 years to become an ancient worm dragon or whatever it is. I think you would just kind of have some sort of like, as you hit milestones, that's like the magic that's required for these dragons to get stronger. And as the dragon fulfills its quests, it will get stronger. So if you've ever played a game like Mass Effect where you have the NPC quests, I think you just give the dragons NPC quests, and as you fulfill their NPC quest, their goals, they will get stronger and become bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, final detail before we get into because we've already actually covered the inciting quest of an artificer finds a dragon, bonds with it and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
The other detail I would add to all of this conversation is you will have to, as a dungeon master, balance your encounters very differently, because your party will have a dragon on the other side, which are very strong and intended to be enemies. So you're just going to have to mess with the encounters to make sure that you have the ability, your party, to fight with dragons alongside them and to not just mow over like random enemies and just kind of go through it easy. So gotta kind of keep that in mind.
I think it would probably be helpful to like figure out maybe like weaknesses of these dragons and maybe bump those up a little bit in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? I feel like when it comes to weaknesses of dragons and something like Dungeons and Dragons, there aren't many. So it's like actually having a prominent list of weaknesses, which they do in How to Train Your Dragon. You know, they have, it's like, this thing makes this dragon sneeze and then it can't do anything. This dragon, like, I forgot what it is, but there's the thing that they're scared of. It's like, it's a snake, I think, that has like stripes or whatever, and they hate snakes. So it's like having those weaknesses and then bumping those up for like combat purposes and stuff like that, I think would help even out the playing field.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the final thing of Brew It, we went through base build, B, resonance and vibe, R, extra froth, E, weird for us, that was a little just for us parts, the W with the airships, the I, inciting quest, the artificer builds a contraption to help the wingless, lame wing.
You're doing good.
The lamed winged dragon. And we go on to some big quest after that as they figure out how to do the bonds between dragons and things. And my God, we can work together, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the final thing is threat level, which is, let's talk about the danger. Who or what is the big bad and what's their challenge rating?
Okay, this is difficult because in my mind, I think of big bad, How to Train Your Dragons. This is all about, in some way, shape, or form, cherishing the balance of nature, right? So I'm thinking, it's obvious to say the big bad is a dragon. I mean, we've seen that in How to Train Your Dragon 2, where the big bad is this giant dragon who just wants to, in some way, shape, or form, get rid of humans and just be the dragon in charge. But I don't know. I think a more interesting big bad concerning the balance of nature would be a Viking king. Would be some sort of, maybe not the exact same guy who runs the Vikings, Hiccup's dad, and, How to Train Your Dragon, but, what if they get a new king? What if that king, she ends up being, like, anti-dragon at some point, Maybe she has a really, like, horrible backstory where, like, her parents got eaten by one of the bad dragons, or maybe her parents were stupid and they got eaten by a dragon for good reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think having the big bad be human, I think, like, elevates more of why How to Train Your Dragon is so cool and interesting.
Let me up the game with a suggestion. Yeah. I feel like we just talked about how How to Train Your Dragon, they're afraid of like snakes or whatever. Like, what if the villain goes to the arch enemy of dragons, makes a deal with them, and leads an army of snakes or spiders or whatever you decide, and that is their move. They partner with these things and everyone's like, That's too far. That's not good. These guys are not good either. So like that, and then you have like the people in the middle, you have the dragons, and then you have the snake army, and you're like, and then you need to figure it out,
No, that's so good, because listen, it's a world of dragons. What stops us from making some, like, I'm thinking with some Viking queen who ends up being like, I don't know, she becomes like the snake queen, and she like finds this giant like basilisk or something that like she tames or maybe bonds with instead of a dragon, and is like, yeah, this giant snake is gonna kill all the dragons, you're welcome. And it's like, whoa, lady, you're evil. Like, that's crazy.
I would imagine in some way, shape, or form that it could be like, it'd have to either fly or it'd have to be in the ocean, and so the dragons can't really. Yeah, so maybe befriend sea serpents, perhaps?
Yes, I'm into that. I'm big on sea serpents. Let's go. I mean, I hate that idea, but like in real life, but I love that idea for RPGs.
Okay, so final recap. We are homebrewing how to play. We are homebrewing How to Train Your Dragon in D&D, and at the base, we need mechanics for how to bond with your dragon, aka you're going to have each of the dragons of the elements will have various elements will have 3 different traits: their temperament, their goal, and the favorite food they like. And if you are able to bond with these, like approach in the right way for those 3 things, you can touch the forehead of the dragon, very much like the show, the movie, the game, another game. There's no games yet. I don't think so. The show, the movie, the book. And when you do that, you can have a negotiation with this dragon to see if you bond and bond with it. Once you have that opportunity, and you vibe with it, we're gonna have a world full of Vikings, and dragons have more prominent weaknesses. You need to, as a dungeon master, you need to balance to make sure you're okay. And you've got the airships and the dragons, and the ability to do that. They level up. As you level up the dragon's quests, you'll get bigger and bigger dragons, young adult to adult dragon, etc. And our plot suggestion is a artificer who's not good at fighting, but finds a lame dragon with a weak wing to help along the way and become a true pair. And we're gonna have some Viking queen snake sea serpent lady who bonds with sea serpents and tries to take out all the dragons. Well, I'm really excited about that. I hope you in the audience have the opportunity to use this particular plan, because I think that's really exciting. And that was an episode of This Is How We Brew It. Taylor, thanks for joining me today. You guys can like and subscribe if you want more content like this.
Bye.
How do we do How to Train Your Dragon in D&D? After all, homebrew is where the heart is. So how do you take that spark, a setting, a villain, a mechanic, and turn it into something that actually works at the table? It's pretty simple. We brew it. The most important mechanic we'll need to create is the bonding system with your dragon. We suggest creating 3 categories for each dragon color: temperament, goal, and favorite food. And so if you approach the dragon in the right way with their favorite food and your goals align, the difficulty of the check to bond with the animal handling is easier. We would suggest probably DC 20. If you pass the animal handling check, you can bond and negotiate with the dragon to work together. We also suggest having your dragon's goals be quests your party goes on, and as they fulfill them, they'll age up from young adult to adult, etc. Our custom world can have Vikings fly airships fighting dragons, and a young artificer finds a young dragon with a broken wing, and they bond, and the artificer invents something to help the dragon fly again, and they bond for real and become friends forever. Even as an evil Viking queen strikes a deal with the sea serpents of the deep to wipe out dragons for good. Just a note, if you're a dungeon master, you might need to rebalance all of your party encounters because they'll have dragons on their side, so they'll pack a little bit more of a punch. Like our idea? Try it out yourself and like and follow for more content like this.
Here on This Is How We Brew It, we turned How to Train Your Dragon into an RPG. We created a mechanic to bond with a dragon after accomplishing an animal handling check. Understanding the dragon's temperament, goal, and favorite food would lower the DC. We make it more fun by listing different types of dragons with different weaknesses and attributes. Dragons grow as you complete quests, and just for us, we added Viking airships for battles in the sky. The inciting quest is a young Viking artificer who fixes the wing of a dragon with a broken wing. And the big bad evil guy is a Viking queen that bonds with a giant sea serpent just for a little fear. Like our idea? Try it yourself and like and follow for more content like this. Jurassic Park, How to Train Your Dragon, The Princess Bride, Inception, Matrix, Mad Max, Fury Road, John Wick, Ghostbusters, Pokemon, Hunger Games, 28 Days Later.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the channel. And we'd love to shout out our Patreon supporters. We have Matthew Matheny, who is our very first Patreon subscriber. Thanks so much for that. And our $5 Follower of the Compass tier supporters, Adorable Will and Fizz. Thanks so much for supporting us. So check out the Patreon and see you in the next one.
Welcome to the final countdown to ReachConf 2025. You better be grabbing your tickets as soon as possible. For the gamers, the video game building has over 10 TV and console combination stations with Smash tourneys. VR folks are going to have a Beat Saber tourney. There's going to be PC and game demos, arcade machines that are all free to play, a retro arcade, and an optional bring your own computer PC LAN for the PC folks. For the tabletop gamers, there's going to be a 50-person mega Dungeons & Dragons one-shot. Lots of tabletop space for all of the board games, and there's going to be room for the trading card gamers. If you want to bring your Magic cards, bring your Pokemon cards, battle it out, let's go. We're calling all the cosplayers in the group also. There's going to be a 360-degree photo shoot, a daily team shoot, and daily winners. And beyond that, there's going to be awesome game shows so the audience can be called in to win real prizes, content creator training events, industry talks, and more. So make sure you get your tickets to ReachConf 2025 today.